Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Savannah Chrisley says Mom Julie now looks different in her eyes after tough prison experience. The longtime couple appeared as guests on their daughter's Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley podcast. Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley appeared as guests on their daughter's podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley. During the conversation, the family said the Chrisley matriarch had it harder than Todd. The couple received pardons from President Donald Trump in May and were both released years early. Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley are remembering their time in federal prison on their daughter's podcast. On the Tuesday, July 1 episode of Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, the 56-year-old husband and his 52-year-old wife appeared as special guests on Savannah's podcast, following the couple being recently pardoned by President Donald Trump. During the family's wide-ranging and heartfelt conversation, Savannah opened up about the change she's seen in her mother in the last few weeks. So Yul's prison experiences were definitely very different, the 27-year-old influencer said as her mother agreed. Mom had to go through things that you never had to, Savannah continued. Julie recalled serving her time for bank and wire fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy in a building that was 100 years old that had no air conditioning at the Federal Medical Center in Lexington, CI. It was cold at times in the winter, and it was really hot in the summertime, she continued. According to Savannah, the air conditioning had even stopped working in visitation rooms during the summer heat. Julie added that temperatures would reach between 110 and 120 degrees. As Todd shook his head and referred to his wife's situation as a mortal hell. Todd claimed he also experienced a week where the air conditioning at the federal prison, Camp Pensacola in Florida, stopped working. I called Savannah on the phone because I knew that they was listening on the Biden phone up there. Because every time you used a payphone, that's what we called it at the Biden phone, he said. I would go up there because I knew they was eavesdropping. So I'd go up there and I'd tell them everything that I wanted them to hear. I'd tell Savannah. And literally when I told them, I said, I want you to report to the press. I said, they're housing these men in here in 100-degree weather. His tactics seemingly worked. The next day, they had the company out there, and they installed 2 brand new units, Todd said. Unfortunately, the same could not be said for Julie. We didn't have that option to even get repaired because we didn't have it to begin with, Julie said. Savannah and Todd both chimed in, claiming that at one point a fire marshal discovered they had screwed all of the windows closed. Now when you look at Mom, she just looks different in her eyes, Savannah said. Elsewhere in the interview, the family discussed how Julie was allegedly locked in a prison cafeteria by that CEO correctional officer. Todd and Julie were in federal custody since January 2023, after they were found guilty on charges of tax evasion and bank fraud and sentenced to a combined 19 years in prison. This number was later reduced by about 2 years each. Savannah Chrisley says Mom Julie now looks different in her eyes after tough prison experience. Savannah Chrisley has never shied away from speaking her mind. Whether on her podcast, in television interviews, or through candid Instagram updates, the Chrisley Knows Best star has often become the voice for her famous family while her parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, continue serving prison sentences. But in her latest heartfelt revelation, Savannah revealed something that left fans deeply emotional. Her mother, Julie, once the rock and gentle nurturer of the Chrisley clan, now looks different in her eyes after enduring the realities of life behind bars. For Savannah, that statement wasn't just about physical appearance. It was about the subtle, sometimes painful ways incarceration reshapes a person. It's not like my mom is unrecognizable, Savannah explained in a recent sit-down conversation. But when I look into her eyes, I don't see the same light that used to be there. There's a heaviness, like the weight of everything she's had to carry in there. She's still my mom, still strong, still full of faith. But she just looks different in her eyes. Like prison leaves a mark you can't hide. A daughter forced into adulthood. At just 27, Savannah has been thrust into roles she never imagined so early in life. Caretaker, spokesperson, financial manager, and emotional anchor for her siblings. She's become a surrogate parent to Grayson, 18, and her niece Chloe, 11, balancing their schooling, activities, and mental well-being while juggling her own career and heartbreaks. But none of that prepared her for the transformation she's noticed in her mother. Julie, often portrayed on Chrisley Knows Best as the calm, level-headed counterbalance to Todd's fiery personality, was always described as the glue of the family. She was the one who held everything together, quietly, graciously, and with southern warmth. To hear Savannah describe her mother now is to understand the profound emotional toll of incarceration. She's not broken, Savannah insisted. If anything, she's tougher. But her softness, the part of her that made everyone else feel safe, has this edge now. When I look into her eyes, I can tell she's been through battles none of us can imagine. Prison life leaves its imprint. Julie Chrisley is currently serving a multi-year sentence at FMC Lexington in Kentucky. While the facility is technically a medical center and considered less harsh than maximum security institutions, Savannah has often spoken about the difficult conditions. She's described poor food quality, strict routines, limited privacy, and emotional isolation. For someone like Julie, who loved being in her kitchen, preparing meals, decorating her home, and surrounding herself with family, the sterile, regimented life of prison strips away pieces of identity. And for Savannah, the proof is right there in her mother's eyes. It's not just sadness, Savannah said. It's resilience mixed with sadness. Like she knows she has to be strong for us, but inside there's grief for all the moments she's missing. Birthdays, graduations, little milestones, those are things she lived for. And now she has to live them through phone calls and letters. Faith as a lifeline. Despite the hardship, Savannah emphasized that her mother has leaned heavily on her Christian faith. If she didn't have her faith, I don't know how she'd get through it, Savannah admitted. She prays constantly. She leads Bible studies inside. She encourages other women who are struggling. That's the part of her that will never change, her ability to nurture and lead. But even then, you can see that prison wears on her. It's like she's pouring out so much strength for everyone else, but I can see in her eyes when she's tired. Julie's faith has also become a shared anchor for Savannah and her siblings. They've often spoken about believing in God's bigger plan and trusting that their parents' story isn't finished. But as Savannah pointed out, faith doesn't erase the reality of seeing someone you love altered by suffering. A new appreciation. Savannah has also admitted that witnessing her mother's transformation has changed her own perspective on life. She said she now values moments of freedom, family dinners, and simple laughter in a way she never did before. When you see the person you love most having that spark dimmed by something they didn't deserve, you realize how precious time is, she reflected. That newfound appreciation has shaped how Savannah is raising Chloe and supporting Grayson. I try to give them as much joy as I can, because I don't ever want them to lose that light in their eyes. I know Mom would want me to protect that for them. The public pressure. On top of her family's private struggles, Savannah has also dealt with the weight of public scrutiny. The Chrisley's legal battles were highly publicized, and critics have been quick to cast judgment.